Welcome or welcome back to Watts, The Obsession. This is the second half, the continuation of the very long Chapter 5 of Cindy Watt's book called All My Broken Pieces. So the last chapter in the book, Chapter 5, really came out in 3 different parts. This third part here is not actually in the book. It only lived on in manuscript or transcript form, but these are the recollections and reflections and narration of Cindy Watts. I have found that this extension of Chapter 5 is really difficult to find out there, and I was sent the transcript by an angel emailer. So I'm going to read it out loud to you, and I can't wait to hear what you think about this continuation of Chapter 5 of Cindy Watt's book, or manuscript, All My Broken Pieces.
They went home, baby.
Papa.
I know, but you'll talk to them on the phone later. They had to go home.
I'm going to have Papa.
We'll talk to them later. You want to call them?
Yeah.
You want to call Mimi and Papa?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Do you miss them?
Yeah. Uh-huh. Papa upstairs.
Papa's not downstairs, baby. He had to go home. Say hi, Papa.
Hi, Papa.
Say hi, Mimi.
Mimi.
Say I love you.
I love you.
Oh, you're so sad.
Mimi.
I know, baby. We'll go visit them next month, okay? You want to go visit them?
Yeah.
Okay. You miss them? Give them kisses.
No.
Let's go downstairs, see Cece. You want to go see Cece?
Yeah.
Okay. Say bye, Mimi and Papa.
I always told myself he was like Ronnie because Ronnie had always been quiet, but he's nothing like Ronnie. I don't know. I'd spend all day and night a year later still trying to find something, anything that I missed. And I must have, but I don't have any answers. We have grief. It will always be with us. I know grief. It walks with me. I know confusion and despair, but I don't think I know my son. Now this is a little part of a letter from Sandy Rusick. I know my son. Everything seemed fine. Our daughter never spoke about anything that she did, but she did speak to us about bankruptcy a lot. Debt with all of the medical bills. Now this goes back to Cindy Watts narrating again. Sandra and Frank were way ahead of us then. Chris never told us about the bankruptcy at all. I found out later, after. And there wasn't much in the way of medical debt in 2015 when they declared bankruptcy, but there was $70,000 in unsecured debt, stuff they had bought. Somewhere in there, Chris had sold his Mustang to get cash for the Lexus down payment lease. By then, he had his work truck. When I look at the bankruptcy filing, so much money, and for what? Clothes, trips they couldn't have afforded. Sandy and Frank had to give them money for their passports. If they couldn't pay for that, what in the world did they go on any of those trips that were really just parties where they bought more overpriced clothing, this time Thrive stuff? It was crazy spending. Chris claims now he didn't know about their money situation. I say, really? 2 years later, they were right there again. And it's not too hard to figure out. He was making $60,000 a year. Their mortgage was $2,700, another $150 for the homeowners, $2,000 a month for daycare, $600 a month for car payments, not counting insurance. They were already in the negative before utilities and food. So why go on pricey trips and buy clothes and toys and get your nails done on Shanann's part? They treated money like monopoly cash. In 2 short years, they were underwater again, having learned nothing, and apparently neither had their banks. Because how anyone was so stupid to give those two credit is beyond me. Bella and Celeste back and forth to doctors. Misdiagnosed for 2 years. I told Shanann that they had asthma and she needed to go find a doctor. She found a doctor one day. She went in to a PA, which is a physician's assistant, and she diagnosed them with asthma. Finally, the girls were doing great. Other than earplugs put in the girls and them being very allergic to tree nuts, which would have caused them death. It's true. Both girls suffered from failure to diagnose or to get the right diagnosis that people in their lives seemed to need for them. Neither of the girls ever displayed any asthmatic symptoms when I was there. And Chris admits now that
You want yucky?
the most he saw was Cece coughing sometimes when she ate too fast. Bella did not suffer from any allergies at all. Despite this, we were told that whatever Cece was allergic to, and sometimes that was chocolate, sometimes peanuts, and later tree nuts, Bella was not allowed to have any of those things either. Young to know all of this, that Chris or Shanann told her that if Cece ate coconut, she wouldn't wake up. I wish no one had done that. She was a very quiet, gentle, frightened little girl. And after the age of 2, she never looked healthy. And her hair wouldn't grow, and she was self-conscious about it. Talking about Bella, of course, now, I know she had the added worry of her sister dying and on her little shoulders. And Mama Bear, Shanann called her. She wasn't a mama bear. She was a baby. But she was right to worry, I guess, because the sister did die. Didn't she? Chris killed her, killed them both. I don't think that they had any allergies at all. I don't think they should have been dosed up with Tylenol every single night of their lives. And here's another thing that haunts me. The last day of their lives, they went to a birthday party and there was cake and ice cream. And those babies had to stand and look at it, and none for them, not even on the last day of their lives. Celeste was born with her esophagus too small, and they went in 3 times to enlarge it. Steroids like crazy to help her breathe for 1.5 or longer years. And until they were diagnosed with asthma, and then Shanann with her neck surgery, which was out of pocket. It was $25,000 they owed. So that's where so much of the debt was. Sandy must be referring to the second go around of debt here, because Shanann's neck surgery was after that bankruptcy. It was elective and so costly, as were most of the tests on the girls. If Cece was born with anything wrong with her, it sure never showed. She was the healthiest, most active, and happiest little girl. I hate that she went through all of those procedures and all of those drugs from birth. Both girls were left to cry it out. Shanann said it was something like baby wise. I thought it was horrible. 2-hour naps unless they were at daycare. Drugs at 6 p.m. every single night, sick or not. Bed at 6:30 or 7 at the latest. Those loud rain machines. I was told to never go in when they cried. No rocking ever. I'd watch Bella crawl out of her bed in the dark and crawl to her bookshelf. Then sit in the corner in the dark holding a book she couldn't read in the dark. If the children had really had asthma, wouldn't having let them cry like that set off the asthma or Cece's choking? I noticed that when we would FaceTime every night for 4 years straight, looking back, when we would FaceTime Chris, he'd be putting the phone all over the ceiling, the floors, etc. I said, Christopher, what are you doing? And then he would FaceTime normally. Before Shanann came to North Carolina, Celeste had a rash on her private area, and she went to go get a face cloth and some cream. Chris had the phone. I said, Chris, let me see how bad it is, being that I am an aide, and I still couldn't see it. So I said, wait a minute, let me move my screen because I couldn't see. So he put it right on her private parts. Oh, I was mad. All I can say to this is that they were very strange. They were a strange family. Chris, Shanann, and her parents, or I should say, at least they were strange to me. From the beginning, I had never seen anyone who would never put that phone down, and I do mean never put that phone down the way Shanann did. Meals, conversations, you name it. The phone was on, and it cost us an unpleasant incident the weekend of the engagement. The phone sent Ronnie and I pictures of our son's penis. The phone was on not just when she was making her videos. Her parents did indeed FaceTime with them constantly. Although Chris did what Shanann said always, he did never warm up to the videos and the constant FaceTiming and phone pics, pictures of every single minute. We didn't FaceTime every night. It would have been painful for one thing, because neither Ronnie or Chris talk much, and seeing how the kids ate dinner isn't necessary. Okay, I get it. I get why they did it, but why did they take their phone into the bathroom? It seems odd to me. But then why did they take pictures every single time the girls were at the hospital? It was just all so weird. So this was an attractive story that became an unattractive story. It neither surprises me or makes me wish we had FaceTime more. Shanann wanted to come for 6 weeks that summer, so she could introduce the girls to Chris's sister, who never met Celeste, and her Uncle Frankie, who had never met Celeste. Before they started back to school, dance classes, etc., it was the best time. I don't know why Shanann came to North Carolina. For so long, they were facing losing their house and basically homeless, unless they moved back to North Carolina and with one set of parents. And maybe it was to see how it would go. And I'll give you a hint, not well. Shanann looked at 2 very expensive houses for sale while she was here. Maybe she or they, though I don't know, thought it was a good idea. But I don't think it was they, because Chris was already in love with another woman. But possibly she thought they could start over in North Carolina like they did in Colorado. If so, I don't think it would have been easy. They weren't just broke, they were drowning in debt with little chance of getting out. They couldn't declare bankruptcy again. They were only 2 years out of the first one, so really it would have meant living with one family or the other. And if those weeks were any indicator, God help Shanann. She must have been growing desperate. Meantime, I have to wonder what Chris's solution was. So this appears to be the end of the extended chapter 5, some people call it chapter 6, of the book to be by Cindy Watts that just remained in a transcript form and was never published. So I want to know, what do you think about this? Had you heard this before? What do you think about the content itself? It's a little controversial, very interesting to me at least. please leave a comment and let us know what you think. Thank you so much for listening to this video, and please click like and subscribe and hit that bell to get notifications from this channel. Thank you guys. I appreciate all of you. And precious, beautiful angels, rest in eternal peace.